The time has arrived. Good morning. The title for today is Energy Shifts and Soul Traveling. This morning I'm trying to piece together the feelings I've been experiencing of late. Everything from the energy shifts happening to the sense of my soul traveling in and out of various dimensions while I sleep, which I haven't been getting enough of lately. Yes, I've been feeling quite exhausted for at least the past several days, and I've been way more aware than normal of sensations in my body. My dreams, while not vivid, coherent stories with beginnings, middles, and ends, seem to combine elements of the past with elements of the present. So, as is normal for me, I ponder what all of this means, wanting to figure out something that makes sense to my mind. It doesn't, though. Instead, it simply seems that I am experiencing a wide range of emotions to select from and decide what future I am going to create. I hope whatever comes forth as I begin recording will make sense for some people, including me. Oh, it's one of those mornings when I'm not exactly sure. Uh, there's no pointed message specifically coming forward. It's just a scattering of thoughts and a scattering of feelings and different ideas just that I'm pondering and, as I said in the blurb, trying to make sense of it all. I ran into a few old friends yesterday. When I say old, I don't mean that they're old. I mean people that have been friends for a while. And we were commenting on that I've been doing the videos every day since January 2011, and I said that it shows quite a bit of faithfulness, and one of the ladies piped in, or obsession, and who knows whether it's faithfulness or obsession. I guess it depends, like everything else, on one's perspective. But I have been doing this a long time. And sometimes I've wondered, that question came up too, how do I think of something different to say every day? Well, I've often wondered the same thing myself, but I usually end up coming up with something. But there have been, for a good while, actually since I've been doing the videos, I've been feeling a shift in energies. And I feel sometimes an acceleration or an accentuation of the energies. They feel very intense. Sometimes it feels threatening in a way because it's messing with the status quo, messing with my comfort zone. And other times I'm just bathed in this glorious sense of well-being, and they're all over the place. And that's been actually fairly normal during this entire 2 to 3 year period that I've been doing these videos. But it even seems more so lately, and it's like I go to bed, and even if I get like 4 hours of sleep, which for me is is wonderful in one stretch of time, I wake up and I'm tired. I mean, I feel absolutely exhausted. And I mentioned to Margie yesterday that that's what I was feeling, and she said she's been feeling the same thing. So I wonder how many other people have just been feeling exhausted. And I wake up with the sense also like I did a hard night's work here, and I was laying in my bed sleeping. But it feels like I've been somewhere, and I wish I could figure out where. And this morning I fell asleep for like a 20-minute dream between the time that I first woke up and then the time that I second woke up. I had a dream, and my mother was in the dream, and she was alive, and I was actually talking to one of her old bosses from like the 1950s. And I was he had a dry goods store, and she was one of the people that was working for him in the dry goods store. And then I went into the back room, and my daughter was working there. And I mean, my daughter never was in that store in her life, and there she is. She's working there, and so I don't. What does all this mean? I mean, I'm clueless. I'm absolutely clueless as to what it means. But it's linking, like I said, and this is something that I've noticed. Even when the dreams don't make sense, I've noticed that it's linking elements, as I said in the blurb, elements of my past with elements of my present. And I'd like to actually see elements of the future that I'm choosing to create, which I know what that is. I mean, uh, I don't have it so much in dreams as I do my visions in meditation, where I see people in the street just dancing for joy, and I see celebration everywhere, and I perceive just a burst of creative energy coming forth with all of the arts and the sciences and the philosophies and everything. And I mean, people just bing. I mean, an explosion, an exciting explosion of awakening, of awareness, of knowing who we are. And that's honestly where I think we're headed. I think we're headed into the revelation of who we are. And in knowing who we are, we will begin to put the pieces together of everything on this journey that we've been experiencing. We will know God, for example. We will know the Creator. We don't know the Creator if we don't know ourselves. I mean, I'm absolutely convinced that you can't know God and say, I don't know who I am. Because if you know God, you do know who you are. Because God is in us. God is our essence. Now, I know there's people that don't believe that. They don't like the word God because it's been so abused by religions. And I don't like religion either, so I get that. But I know I didn't. I know I came from something real. And in my best moments, when I feel most connected, I know that reality is love. And when I'm in the space of loving, and not in the space of questioning and doubting and fearful, when I'm not in the latter and I'm in the feeling of love and connected to all of life, I mean, it's absolutely joyous. It's absolutely wonderful. I wish I could stay there, but I guess if I stayed there, I wouldn't appreciate it as much when I go there. So here again, we got the contrast thing, and that's the gift that we're given, and we've got to make sense of it. Just like I'm having to make sense of these incoherent dreams where it's piecing together pieces from different time frames in my own life that I'm aware of. And I imagine others may be experiencing something similar, but I don't know unless I ask, right? So I'm asking, what are you experiencing in your dreams? I mean, share it on the Facebook links, and share it on the YouTube. I wish YouTube ran their links like Facebook does. Well, actually, I would like to combine the two things. I would like to be able to comment specifically on specific comments like I can on YouTube, and do that on Facebook, but Facebook carries threads much nicer. It's a much better display. And by the way, for those of you that keep wanting to invite me to other things, I think I've said this before. I'm pretty sure I have. Facebook and YouTube are sufficient social groups for me, just so that you know. So I don't do LinkedIn and Twitter and all of these other things that people get involved in. I'm just not interested. Not even the opt book that people have started. I'm just not in that. But anyway, trying to make sense, our ego, our mind, wants to make sense of all of these things. And quite honestly, the message that I'm getting right in this very moment right now is that things are happening as so fast, and they're not going to make sense to us till we have the opportunity to look back and see how the pieces were woven together. And that's my sense, that spirit is actually weaving things together. And they do appear fragmented when we look at them in isolation. But when we go back, we're going to be able to view the tapestry. It looks like we're looking at it from the bottom with all these strings hanging out, like an embroidery thing, and all these strings are just hanging out. But we're going to be able to get above that. We're going to look down on the tapestry that's being woven together of our lives. and it's going to be a beautiful tapestry, and we're going to go, ah, oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. But from where we're sitting right now, and we're looking up at all the fragments, all the strings hanging out that haven't been trimmed, it looks quite chaotic and quite messy. But that's not how it's going to look when we get to view the picture from a different perspective. And that's what we have. We have 7 billion perspectives on this planet, each trying to make sense out of what's going on, each trying to weave together some type of coherence in all of these energies that are fluctuating all over the place, trying to make sense of what's happening with all the meteors and all the earthquakes and all the earth changes that are going through, that people were warning us were going to be devastating, yet we haven't seen any major devastation because probably our star family is really more involved than we want to admit in diverting things, because our star family, I think, at least partially, is us from the future. It's because remember that time is an illusion. We want it, we see it in past, present, and future, but there's only present, and really in the present, I can bring elements of the past into the present, and I can bring elements of the future into the present, but all I'm really experiencing is the present, and that's the gift that we all are experiencing. And it's either going to be a gift or a curse depending on what we do with it. We can open it like it's a Christmas present, or we can fear it like it's some ominous sign of some portending doom. But we get to create the world of tomorrow, today, by how we choose to focus our attention. Do we see everything as a negative conspiracy trying to destroy us? Do we see the dark side as having such terrible power that we don't have a chance against it? Or do we see a greater spirit, a more powerful spirit, a spirit of love, putting everything together? That's the one that I choose, although I admit they all come together over the course of a day. My thoughts and my feelings range all over the freaking place. I mean, literally all over. And as I said about sensations in the body, I mean from my head to my foot, to my head to my feet, I just pick up different sensations at different times. Sometimes it feels like pain, sometimes it's a fluttering, but I'm so aware that something is going on, and I choose to interpret it, no matter what it is, whether it's a pain or a fluttering or whatever the sensation feels like to me. I choose to see it as, okay, this is the adjustment that I've waited for. This is my DNA being activated. This is something good for me. I don't choose to interpret it as something that's going to hurt me. Although some of my thoughts in regard to the legal system and everything, I still don't know where they're going, and those have to be the most fearful things, because I don't know what other people are going to do. I don't know how other people are going to be responding to the energies that I'm sure they're feeling too. And I asked Dr. Mary for help the other day, which someone suggested, actually Gina suggested, ask Dr. Mary to help you. And I mean, I sense Dr. Mary fairly often, and I had never actually asked her to help me, thinking, what can she do? She doesn't have her body anymore. Gina says, but she can do a lot. And so I asked, and then Dr. Mary seemed to be saying to me, yes, I'm willing to help you. And I thought that was really cool. And there's lots of things like that, but it's like there's all of these pieces, and it hasn't all come together into a coherent pattern for me yet that my mind can say, that makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. It's just scattered things that I'm getting the opportunity to experience. How about you? Where are you in all of this shifting of energies? Where are you in these downloads of light and love that are happening? Where do you see it? Are you fearful? Are you still thinking that the Illuminati is going to be able to pull off their plan to dominate the entire world and to create a one world order that's horrible and horrific? Or do you, I mean, where are you? Do you think that God actually does have a plan that's really good and that all things work together for good when we love? When we love. And when we love, we are in God. We are part of God. And that's not a religion. Muslims can love, Hindus can love, Buddhists can love, Christians can love, Jews can love, people that are atheists can even love. In fact, I've known some wonderful atheists, and they do sometimes have a really strong sense of love and a really strong sense of community, and oftentimes much higher integrity than religious people that I know. So we can all love. And when we come from a place of love, I know that we're going to be okay because we have within us a power that is rich and vibrant and creative. And we're going to be able to create together, co-create a world that works for everybody. That's been my vision, my dream. And even if we disagree on some of the elements of the hows and the whys and the wherefores, we're going to be able to do it, folks. That's the message Spirit's giving me to give you today. And once again, I thank you for listening. Namaste. And I hope I get some sleep because I want to lay down this morning. I've got a big day ahead of me. Bye.